Hi, today we're going to go through a series of Rachel installation scenarios. How this will usually start is that you will have a bunch of options for how you get Rachel content available to the students or the individuals in your community, and we're going to walk you through all the scenarios for best deploying that content. So it usually starts with either World Possible or someone mailing you a USB stick that contains Rachel on it. Or maybe you found one in your community or someone has handed it to you. And what we found is that a lot of people have chosen this first option, which is to transfer content to computers individually. And so part of the goal of these next few videos is to convince you that there are other very, very easy ways that provide enhanced functionality for you to install Rachel. But first, let's go through transferring content to computers individually. So what we have here is a little overview of transferring Rachel contents to individual computers, and I'll show you how to do that basic installation in a minute. But I first wanted to talk a little bit about some of the pros and cons of this. Now at the bottom we'll see the pros is that this is very easy and very scalable. We'll call this a 2 out of 10 on the difficulty chart. The cons that a lot of people aren't really familiar with is that, one, you don't have any central storage of Rachel. So a lot of places you can add content to Rachel very easily, or maybe you want to delete some things that aren't relevant. If you store all of Rachel in one place, this is very easy to do. Rachel also comes with usage tracking, so you can see how much files are being used and viewed if you have them in a central location. It's very time consuming to transfer all of Rachel onto a computer. It can take 30 minutes to an hour. It doesn't build any networking skills. It requires a large amount of storage space on each computer, at least 30 gigabytes, and there's limited support for smartphones and limited support for Apple devices. It is great that it is very easy and scalable, and there's no additional hardware required. So let's go ahead and go through how to transfer content from a Rachel stick onto a computer. And so what I've got for that purpose here is a very old laptop. This computer is now going on almost 6 years old. It's the same one we used years ago to make our original videos, and what I've got right now in process is a file transfer of Rachel onto the computer. Like I said, this takes quite a bit of time, but if you've got this USB stick or someone's handed it to you, the goal is to install this as many times as possible. So we don't want you guys to be using this stick just in one computer. It's great that you can go around and install this in a lot of different places and just leave the contents behind on each computer. So when you plug it in, as I've done on a Windows machine, and I'm waking it back up, it'll take some time, and then up will pop a window that's got Rachel on it. Now I'm going to go ahead and run Rachel from this USB stick. So we have this new great little icon that just says start, and it'll actually just say Rachel start when we've finally released this in the next couple days. But you double click it, and up comes Moz. Moz is a piece of software that helps Rachel run as a server, and if you don't know what that means, it's not important for now, but you will want to go ahead and allow access to both MySQL and to, if you get another one called Apache, you're going to want to allow access to this. And so right now I am accessing the Rachel content on my local machine, or it's called a local host. And in here I can search through all of Rachel. I can read Wikipedia. I can go through all the Khan Academy videos, just like you might be already familiar with using Rachel today. So the Khan Academy, Science and Math, Health and Medicine. There's a new user interface with the new launch of Rachel. Now what we want to encourage people to do is to not just run Rachel off of this USB stick. So this USB stick is called a Pocket Pro. So I'm going to go ahead and end the current running versions. And then what we would hope folks do is that they install this on their desktop. So that way the USB stick can be taken to someone else, and they can install that again and again. So I have a new folder here. I'm just going to go ahead and call this Rachel. I've already got a Rachel, so I'm in the process of doing this with a second USB stick over here right now. So I'm going to call this Rachel 2. And all you do is you just take these two icons, this folder labeled bin and this start button, and you drag them over here into this folder, and then you'll get a notice. And it's going to tell you it could take upwards of an hour to install this. But you can install this on as many computers as you want, and once it's done transferring, you will always have Rachel on that individual computer. Up next, we're going to talk about some options for using Rachel Pi, a hardware solution, as well as starting to build your network with Rachel. And I promise you it's very, very easy and worthwhile. Thank you.